Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 0. This is the introduction episode of Breathing While Black with your host, me, Leona Dunn. I am so glad that you guys are tuned in. This is going to be a cultural podcast, quick news updates, 2 minutes a day, probably 3 sometimes if I'm going over a little bit, but this is all to help me practice my delivery, to time news stories, to get as much information as possible out to you guys. And I think that this podcast is going to help us just stay more informed. That's the only goal, right? It's going to be a cultural podcast, so it's going to be extremely black. So if you don't want to hear black, this is not the podcast for you, okay? I think that the hashtag Breathing While Black, it has always stayed with me ever since Alton Sterling died or got murdered by police in 2016. It just stuck because, we can walk while black, talk while black, drive while black, but breathing while black, breathing is something you have to do. It is literally what God did to give human beings life. He breathed he breathed air into Adam when he gave him life in Genesis 2:6. So I just think that in all things we breathe. And I want to talk about all things we do as a culture. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you guys enjoy these little 2 minutes. If you do, yay. If you don't, I'm still going to practice. So I'll see you guys during this first season. And thank you so much for tuning in. No matter what you do, stay black, stay beautiful, and stay breathing. Thank you.